sit down if you can't recite your mission statement. Almost everybody sat down. And you think about, we have these mission statements and they're all glorious and we're excited and they're on the wall, but ask anybody to repeat it and they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't because it didn't mean anything to them.
Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting edition of The Way to Value by Design Advisors. I'm here with my partner, Marty Osborn.
Yo, Dale, what's going on?
Just get it out of the way, Marty. I know you have a comment about my outfit today.
Oh yeah, he shows up. You show up today, and I'm like, well, you gonna change shirts? And you're like, no, it's hoodie day. And I'm like, how can it be hoodie day?
It's October. Fall is here. So I'm celebrating fall.
Yeah, and then what did you say to me?
I said, you're a cusper. You just don't understand.
I just use these, man. I just don't understand.
Generational tension.
Goodness gracious. I know. We had a great, I swear, last week talking to Camber and just talking about the different generations and kind of how we're shaped and formed and what influenced us at the time. Just really interesting topic.
And I'm still seeing it. I worked with a client, this isn't what today's episode is going to be about, but I'm working with a client and they're kind of battling whether they get office space or not. And it's just funny to see the different generations' thoughts on whether they should or shouldn't. And it literally, you could cut it across generational lines.
No, it's definitely generational because obviously us cuspers and you know, kind of that older generation, like a status symbol was your own office.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was always a fight for office meant something. And I know it at Voco, the older people, but we didn't have many of them. So very few people wanted offices. And we talked about offices. What did most of our people want?
They just wanted to sit out with their
friends.
Groups of friends. Yep.
Yeah. So I think it is interesting, not only dynamics and how we act, behave, but our office space, our titles, all that stuff.
All that. Well, good. Yeah, interesting. If you haven't checked out that episode, please go and do it. It was very informational for me. Learned a lot from it and I've dug into a little bit more since that talk. And it's kind of crazy how it all lines up. But today we're going to talk about something that's getting a little bit of buzz through our LinkedIn post and Instagram. And it's this phrase we've started using. I can't remember where I got it. I must confess I didn't come up with it. But permission to play versus unique value. And, you know, I kind of thought it was kind of a common term when I started using it. Turns out maybe it's not. I'm getting a lot of questions on what is it? What do you mean by that? What is and isn't? So today we thought we could just maybe deep dive into permission to play versus unique value, what it is, how do you pressure test one, make a decision and go from there. I don't know. I know you've posted some stuff and have gotten some reaction as well.
Just getting a lot of feedback because I think you hit on something. Is when people start to build out like mission statements, they're trying to create here's who we are, and it could either be internal, external, but we always get caught up, and we did another session on this of marketing buzzword bingo, and we start talking about we are value-driven, customer-focused, you know, our culture is the leader, and just these words that we get all flowery about, but at the end of the day, do they actually really excite anybody, or isn't that just expected?
Yeah. And I guess we should just go ahead and define it up front. My interpretation and my definition of permission to play is the bare minimum requirements to get you a seat at the table or get you into the arena. My LinkedIn post, I said, compared it to a football team, right? The permission to play is you got to have a helmet, pads, pass a physical, right? To even be allowed to enter into arena to play football. Doesn't mean you get on the field, doesn't mean you run a play, doesn't mean anything. It just means you have to have that to get into the arena.
Right. I love that permission to play. And I also think sometimes look at the reverse and think about it. So if you looked at the reverse and said, we are not customer focused, like nobody's going to say that. You know, we love our people. No, we hate our people. Like nobody's going to say that, right? Or we put profits first. Like nobody's going to say that. So to me, when you start looking at these, you look at the inverse and say, well, nobody's going to say that, which means everybody's saying this piece.
It almost reminds me about going back for an older generation. Chris Rock had a skit about always bragging about what you're supposed to do. And he was like, one of my friends is always like, I take care of my kids. And he's like, you're supposed to take care of your kids. Like to me, that's permission to play. If you're sitting there saying, well, I pay my bills and I take care of my kids. And oh yeah, that's what you're
I'm a
supposed
great
to do.
dad.
I'm a great dad.
No, that is permission to play. And I think what struck me too is when I was walking to the office, we're in political season now, and you start seeing these signs, yard signs, and they always crack me up because the latest one I saw was community focused leadership. Well, what's the opposite of that?
That I don't care about my community and I'm not focused
Please
on
elect me
leadership.
because I don't care about the community. I don't care about what y'all think. I'm going to do whatever I want. Like, that's just a permission to play. Where this person should be doing is what is their unique value proposition? What is it that they truly thinks that sets them apart?
And you also have to look at it as if you're in front of a client and you guys are across the table, you can't really accuse that other person of, well, no, you're not community focused leadership. I am. You're not. Because they're just going to be like, yeah, I am.
Yeah, look, I did this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Do you love your employees? Well, yeah, I love my employees. I did this, this, and this. Or it's our culture that separates us.
We're both big college football fans as well. Think about it in recruiting, right? Stadiums, workout facilities, food, training tables, all that's permission to play. That's not going to get you a single recruit, but you have to have those things to even get the meeting with the parents in the living room, right?
Yeah.
So permission to play it doesn't mean they're bad or worthless or it's just, no, this is expected. Like permission to play is almost, well, yeah, that's expected.
Yeah. And I think back to, it's funny, the football example, and I think about a lot what's going on in universities. As everybody knows, I'm a huge Clemson fan, and this isn't one of our best seasons. And I think there's a little bit of a battle going on because they're saying, well, there's nothing wrong with the program. Maybe the team's struggling. But you could argue, yes, it was about family. It was about, dedication of the players, starting them when they're a freshman and growing them. And that all worked in the era. But all of a sudden, business changed, right? We enter the NIL era. We are, the different era where now we're paying the players. Well, at some point in time, the parents are going to be like, yeah, that building's wonderful. Coach, you're an awesome guy, but how much are you paying me?
Yep.
Right? Because I have 4 years to make money. And so all of a sudden, sometimes what might be a unique value proposition in the flip of a card or something in business now turns the permission to play and is not unique.
Yeah, that's a great point because I do think in the good old days before everybody was getting paid, right? Family, brotherhood, I'm going to take care of your son, turn him into a man. That mattered. Those were unique value propositions because not everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's leaning more towards
how many
how
many zeros? I'm sorry, but I get it. They're going to make more money in 4 years than maybe the rest of their lives.
Yep.
So the zeros matter. And so if you're not talking about that, if you're not talking about exposure, which is where certain leagues are coming, the game's going to change.
And I view it as just what used to be a unique value proposition has now become permission to play, right? Yes, you have to take care of my kid. Yes, you have to do those used to separate you. Now those are just, nope, those are assumed going to happen. How many zeros are you going to throw on top of that?
So I think what each and every organization, again, we had this conversation is I think everybody needs to put their mission statement out there and ask themselves the question. And we actually got put on the spot, and it was pretty interesting, right? We were asked by a very large organization to take a look at their mission statement. Now, this is always hard because it usually is the CEO, the leadership team's baby. And so to put it up there and to tell them their baby's ugly, it's not an easy, it's not an easy task. And so when we started teaching permission to play or unique value, and we worked with the teams on saying, what is it that separates you? If you think about a great win or if a customer was to say something about you, we started with all of these accolades. What are we doing best? Like what's working? Then when we move to the mission statement and say, is this permission to play or unique value proposition? We don't even have to say another word.
No.
It is clear as day.
I still remember that meeting, and not that their baby was ugly. I wouldn't say they're ugly. They're good. Most of them are good.
They were what everybody has.
Okay, yeah. And after we had walked them through some of the exercises and we knew where we were going, he got there a lot sooner. If you remember, he kind of spoke up and goes, All right, now that I read that, that's just all permission to play stuff.
Yeah. And
we're like, thank God we didn't have to say it ourselves.
Yeah, we didn't get in trouble. But I think it's when you're honest with yourself, when you truly look at it, because, mission statements should be your rallying cry. They should be what leads your team into battle. And you've always said this is, can you reward based upon it? Can you pay bonuses based upon it? Can you say actions are based on that or not? And we actually took that to another level at Advoco. Was, you remember when we didn't really have one and we had to let a senior member of our team go because of their actions, and everybody said, what happened? And we said, well, they just weren't Advoco. And they said, well, what is that? What is it being Advoco? And we kind of went, we kind of knew it here, but we didn't put it down. And when we really sat down, what we said at Advoco was, we want to earn the title of trusted advisor. Plain and simple, that word earn. And so each and every day when we woke up and our team woke up, were they earning that title? Because you can say, I want to be your trusted advisor. Well, who's not going to say that? Question is, are you earning it?
And are you willing to do the work to earn it, right? People will say, well, trusted advisor, that sounds like permission to play. And I would argue that is. The key word is not trusted advisor. No. It was, and what we focused on was earning it. Are you earning it? Which means, are you showing up? Are you delivering? Are you delivering in the right way, in the honest way, in the way we wanted to, right? Are your coworkers enjoying working with you? Are you a team player? So that earned, even though it was one word, it meant a gazillion.
Isn't it amazing how
things.
Really it is that one word, or you deserve the best, right? So if we were working with a client, I remember we were working with one and they were in a business where I think the bar was so low, like nobody likes these people and nobody really executes well. And when we kept asking what they did better, and it was all about customer service, all about we treat people better, which is all great. But at the end of the day, we kind of just said, you deserve the best. And that's what we're going to do. And so each and every day when we wake up, they know they're going to get our best, and you deserve the best.
Yeah. And that's how to just help the folks out there listening. So how can you start, right? Put your statement out on the table, ask yourself the tough questions, be honest. It's okay if they're permission to play. That puts you in the 98th percentile with everybody else. But then to really dig deeper, start asking yourself, what does our customers look like before they work with us and after, right? What do you do in that middle piece? How do you do it? Why do you do it? And what makes you better than your competition? That's where the secret's in there somewhere. Yeah. And you just got to kind of start looking at what transformations. What are your customers? What's the customer feed? So many people are afraid to talk to their customers and say, hey, what do you like about us versus talk to them, right? Yeah. They'll give you gold as well. And when you start uncovering all that information, the sauce is in there, right? What's working? What are you doing well? What are you known for? What transformations happen? How do they happen? It's in there. You just gotta.
Yeah. One of the things there was when I was in the process of writing my book, I was part of this kind of book writing community and so forth. And there was a guy in the community that wrote a book, and he was annoying. And to be honest, I really didn't want to hear from this guy because he acted like he had it all buttoned up and he was just like a superstar. And his book came out and it was called The Core Value Equation. And I bought all the books of anybody who was in the community. I figured I'd give him a shot. Turned out to be one of the best books that I read and our company read, because the core value equation, he said, when you talk about mission statement, he had everybody basically stand up and said, sit down if you can't recite your mission statement. Almost everybody sat down. And you think about, we have these mission statements and they're all glorious and we're excited and they're on the wall, but ask anybody to repeat it and they couldn't. They couldn't because it didn't mean anything to them. It just was a bunch of words cobbled together that made people feel good, but at the end of the day, didn't drive, didn't inspire. And so the people that actually stood up and could repeat it, they were short and meaningful to earn the title of trusted advisor. It's not hard, but that one mission, simple in what it was what we strive for every day. And so I think as organizations, we have to figure out is it just permission to play? Because permission to play says that we're going to be low price, or permission to play is that it's our people come first, or we have a great culture, or, whatever those things are. But what is it that really separates us from the rest?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing. Like, again, one of our unique differentiators at By Design Advisors is our 90-day engagements. Like we say we're going to deliver value every 90 days. And if at any point you think we're not, you just let us know and we'll go our way, you go your way. Most companies don't do that, right? They want a year-long contract, or they want a multi-year contract, or stuff like that. I mean, that's just one small example, but it doesn't have to be this grandiose.
No, and you know what? One other thing it should do is beg the question or get people to say, well, how? Mm-hmm. Like how? So to earn the title of trusted advisor, how do you do that? Now we can say it. Or like at By Design, right? Our goal is to help clients unlock their hidden values. And that could either be through growth strategies, which come through 90-day relentless execution. We believe in, simplicity over complexity, like we're talking about here today. And so through these little things, and then probably the last thing, which is always to us the interesting one, is not who's right, but what's right. And if you just keep it that simple, and we made a conscious effort, I think it helps us distinguish what we're going to do for our clients.
Yeah. So again, it's permission to play, get you in the game, get you to the table, but your clients are going to choose you based on your unique value differentiators. And if you can't internally tell each other what that is, how are you going to express that to a client, right?
Yeah.
So I always say, picture yourself sitting at the table with your two other biggest competitors. You're pitching a client. What are you going to say that those two other people following you aren't going to be like, well, we do that too, right? And if they can sit there and say, we do that too, it's probably a permission to play. Keep thinking.
Yeah. I've got a challenge for the audience.
All right.
And I think this would be fun to do is, and I'll make it so you don't have to pick on yourself. Because I would say put your mission statement in the comments, and then, if you're brave enough or you got guts and you want to put something there, let people chime in, see what it is. Or if you don't want to get too personal, because sometimes that hurts, if you see something out there or you look at another company, put somebody else's mission statement. We don't really care. If you're curious about a certain mission statement or you want to make an example, it'd be great to hear from people, because once you start this exercise, it's kind of like once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Like, it's amazing how fast you look at a statement and it, you just are like, well, yeah, everybody does that. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't do that?
Yeah. Good. Well, great discussion, Marty. I love the challenge. I look forward to see if anyone's brave enough to put their own, but even if it's not your own, like you said, just go grab somebody off a website and say, hey, I saw this one and here's what I think. Like you said, it's one of those things. If you say you're getting ready to buy a red car, all of a sudden you see red cars everywhere. I guarantee you, if you're out there and you're wandering around seeing billboards, seeing political ads, seeing commercials, you're going to start saying, well, yeah, who wouldn't say that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about Apple. There's two words.
Be different.
Yeah, be different, or think differently.
Yeah.
I mean, simple, but you think about that piece, you knew exactly what they were doing. Like, they're going to think differently. Their designs, their software, remember everybody got all mad because they weren't like DOS and you couldn't, pass files back and forth, and it was their proprietary software, and everybody's like, oh, they'll never make it. But their motto was think differently. That was their mission, and everybody knew it. And so I think there are some really good examples. So if somebody has a great example, I mean, it's easy. Nike, right? Just do it. It's not do it. They don't just say do it. They say just do it. And I think that explains also what business they're in. So to borrow from Apple, we challenge you to think differently when it comes to your mission statements and even your values. Look at your core values as well, because a lot of times the core values are just permission to play as well. So thanks, Marty. Always enjoy the conversation. Happy fall, y'all. Yeah.